Well, what an embarrassment our national airline has become, Qantas. The High Court of Australia today upheld the fact that Qantas illegally sacked 1,700 workers during the pandemic, mainly ground staff, baggage handlers, that sort of thing. Federal court said, hey, you've illegally sacked these guys. Qantas go, no, we haven't. We're going to the High Court to challenge it. God knows how much it cost. High Court, unanimous, said to Qantas, go away. You illegally sacked them. Anyway, that is at the same time that over $2 billion of our money, taxpayer money, was flowing into Qantas accounts to keep Aussie jobs, because it was called JOBKEEPER, don't forget, JOBKEEPER. And Alan Joyce decided, you know what we're going to do? We won't keep those jobs. We'll sack them, 1,700 of them, illegally. Both the federal and High Court have found. Now, we asked someone from Qantas to come on the show today, as if they would, but they did issue a statement. Qantas acknowledges and accepts the High Court's decision to uphold two prior rulings by the federal court regarding the legality of outsourcing the remainder of the airline's ground handling function in 2020. As we've said from the beginning, we deeply regret the personal impact the outsourcing decision had on all those affected, and we sincerely apologise for that. Now, that second part, as if they do not regret it, nor do they apologise for it, Qantas. Stop lying to us. Nick McIntosh is the National Assistant Secretary of the TWU, the Transport Workers Union, and they've fought tooth and nail beside their workers to get this outcome. Nick, well done.
Oh, thanks, Chris, and it's great to be with you on such a momentous day.
So are you going to get some compensation out of Qantas?
Yeah, look, the next step now, Chris, is this will go back to the original federal court judge who, believe it or not, I think found about 2 years ago that this was illegal. And as you said in your opening, Qantas has spent God knows how many millions dragging this out to today. But it will go back to that federal court judge. He will look at the compensation due to these 1,700 workers and then ultimately look at the penalty for, Chris, what is the biggest by a country mile illegal behaviour of a company against workplace relations in this country's history.
Do you think that the Qantas board needs to go, given that they oversaw the whole shebang?
Well, Chris, it's almost unfathomable to see how they could stay, isn't it? I mean, how could you, if you're Richard Goyder in particular as the chair, and you have backed Alan Joyce in every decision he has made over the last 4 or 5 years, including, as I said, the JobKeeper rort that led to this outsourcing, this illegal outsourcing, what we saw with the ACCC last week, you know, that these Alan Joyce bonuses that keep coming, that's kind of been the most complained about company last year. How can you stay when you have overseen that and backed that CEO in the whole way? And if Qantas is serious, Chris, about turning over a new leaf and trying to win back the trust of the Australian public, I can't see how the guy that oversaw all of this can be there for the rebuilding. And same goes, frankly, to the rest of the board who seem to sit there silently as all of this unfolded.
I did laugh at Qantas' statement. Qantas accepts the High Court's decision. I've just got a text of the good of Qantas to accept the decision, isn't it? It's the High Court. What choice do they have?
I mean, that's right, isn't it? And it's 7 judges of the High Court. It's not some sort of split decision here, which could have gone either way, but for one person. And again, this comes back to if Qantas could have just taken a bit of humility when this original decision was made 2 years ago, it frankly saved themselves millions of dollars in this fight. We might have been in a different situation, but these 1,700 workers, Chris, many of whom have seen marriage breakdowns, they've been put through the ringer. If you're in your mid-50s, as some of these guys and girls were, and they lose a job they've had for decades through no real reason, let's be frank, other than Alan Joyce wanted to bring on people paid lower wages and conditions, then, to be dragged through this for 3 years is pretty horrific. And I'm just so pleased for these workers that there is some form of justice, albeit, Chris, a lot of these people wanted their jobs back. And unfortunately, in spite of this illegal behaviour, the laws in this country are such that they won't get their jobs back. And
Nick, just before I let you go, it's these 1,700 workers, how are they feeling? Because, they're not sort of silver spoon type people. They're baggage handlers, they're ground staff, they're earning, an honest wage working for what they thought was a good, honest company. And they've been dragged through the mud. And really, regardless of what the decision of the High Court was today, they'd be feeling, I reckon, a little torn.
I think, Chris, I mean, you're right. These are salt of the earth, blue-collar people who spent decades, many of them, working for this company, prided themselves on working for what, they were so proud to be working for the Spirit of Australia. But I can tell you this, of the members that were down there today in Canberra that made the trek down there was not a dry eye as they walked out of that courtroom. And they were, and these are, we're talking about pretty tough grown men here who were bawling their eyes out about this, with thinking of all the pain and suffering them and their colleagues have been through to get to this moment. So really, I'm so happy for those workers that we've gotten to this point in time, and I'm hoping that Vanessa Hudson does the right thing now and expedites these compensation penalty hearings to end this pain, so that these workers can move on with their lives.
Nick, just say it straight. Is it time for Albo to drop his cosy relationship with Qantas?
Well, I heard some comments he made a couple of days ago in Parliament where he was pretty damning on the actions of Qantas over the last 2 years. So
come on, just say it, Nick. I know you're a Labor man, but just say it. It doesn't sit well with any Australian, let alone the people who you represent. But I'll save you the embarrassment. Good on you, Nick. I'll say it for you.
Well, Chris, I think everyone's been caught with their pants down a bit on all sides of politics, haven't they? Here, I don't know that anyone's immune from this. So let's hope that everybody can heed this lesson and we can move on and turn over a new leaf in this company.
Good on you, Nick. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, Chris.
Nick McIntosh, the National Assistant Secretary of the Transport Workers Union. Solidarity forever. He won't bag the Prime Minister. I will. I'll bag him. He should never have been anywhere near Qantas or Alan Joyce, and it's done far more damage to the Prime Minister than The Voice ever will.
A cheeky and very clever leprechaun running away into the distance. To be sure, leprechauns are very tricky little people.